on Highland Radio.
Around the Northwest with John Breslin.
Yeah, and here we are for a Thursday afternoon. Now, the renowned poet and editor Nessa O'Mahony will be the guest at this year's Francis Browne Literary Festival, delivering the keynote speech at the awards ceremony in Keys Hotel next Friday the 11th. The festival is now in its fourth year and it celebrates the rich cultural and literary heritage of East Donegal. It starts next Thursday, continues through until Sunday the 13th. And I'm joined now by the chair of the Francis Browne Literary Festival, Celine McGlynn. Celine, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, John. Thanks for having me on the show.
Not at all. Always good to talk. Let's talk a little bit, first of all, I suppose, about Francis Browne. Tell us a little bit about her. From Stranorlar and blind, not from birth, but from when she was an infant.
Yeah, she was 18 months and she was born with normal vision and at 18 months lost her sight because of smallpox. Yeah. And because of at the time, a disabled person wouldn't have access to education. She managed, through listening to her siblings recite their homework, she managed to educate herself and managed to find books. And
she was from a family of 12.
From a family
so she had plenty of help.
And she was seventh, so there was younger ones and older ones. So she was sort of ideally placed to gain from the older ones and help the younger ones. And she did this lovely thing of helping them with their chores if they would read to her. Right. So that is how she educated herself. And another lovely thing she did is to geographically, if she wanted to know where someplace was, she would have someone trace her finger from Stranorlar to wherever this was in the world, so that she had an idea where places were. And just so inventive and able to work with a disability instead of lying down under it, and managed to create a stellar career. She is the most, the most important writer ever to emerge from the Finn Valley, and created the masterpiece Granny's Wonderful Chair, which has been translated into so many languages.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's gaining popularity, I hope, thanks to our committee, who are very hardworking.
Yeah. Well, a lot of awareness about her would be down to the festival, and people would be wondering who Francis Browne was. And as you say, it had a great success in the 1800s, and in particular with Granny's Wonderful Chair, which came out in around about the middle of the century, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Now the festival this year, well, as delivering the keynote speech, you've managed to secure a very respected voice in both fiction and non-fiction.
Absolutely, yeah. We have two special guests this year. We have Nessa O'Mahony, the brilliant poet and editor from Dublin, who will deliver her keynote speech. Centres on translating achievement into legacy, and what Nessa was adamant about was that Francis Browne was very popular in the day. Highly respected writer, along with Dickens. She would have been moved in those circles, but she somehow got forgotten about, to the extent that her 100th birthday went by without much ado, the 100th anniversary of her death, actually. But we tried to ratify that on the 200th anniversary in 2016, where we had a sort of a year-long series of events in schools and the poetry competition as well.
Mm-hmm. Okay, tell us a little bit about the festival. It's opening up next Thursday, and you've got a professor coming over from New Zealand for the opening.
Yeah, we're very, very fortunate. Professor Thomas McGlynn, who is from Otago University in Dunedin in New Zealand. um, a noted scholar, and he has written about Frances Browne and is very interested in Frances Browne and is actually bringing together the legends of Ulster's. Frances Browne, while she was in Edinburgh, wrote 12 legends of Ulster based on the folklore of on fairy tales around Ulster and sort of buzzing with Ulster Scots language. You know, they're fabulous, and interestingly, they have not been they're not in a full volume, even though they have been all been published in different
Mm.
parts. So it's exciting to get those 12 stories together, and he's doing that. And a lovely thing, I was just sort of reading up a few things that he said about Frances Browne and his book, The Other East. He talks about how she gave voice to the unheard. And that's very, very much what Frances Browne was about. She was about the poor, the slavery. She was very much anti-slavery. She really sort of, her vision was way beyond Stenorler. You know, she was concerned for people who are oppressed everywhere.
She
And
lived in
during the
London.
famine,
Is that right?
hmm,
She lived in London.
she lived in London at the end of her life, and she died in London, in Richmond. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, anyhow, back to the festival, and also on Friday there's different events. There's a painting masterclass and pop-up poetry session, and also something very interesting on. Sorry, that's on Friday. Before that, on Thursday night in the Balor, there is a champion Sean Nose singer from Oregon.
Yes.
That's
Gen-
an
Genevieve.
unusual one.
I'm just trying to make sure I pronounce Genevieve's name properly. Galarnew. Galarnew. And Genevieve and another girl from Derry, Rasha Nimorchu,
Hmm.
will sing in English, Irish, and Gaelic, which is Scotch Irish. Um, a lot of people from here would have made the trip across to Scotland for seasonal work. So there's a huge connection between Donegal and Scotland. And the idea is to celebrate that connection through this night in the Balor Theatre. And you can book that night. That the bookings for that night are at the Balor Theatre, the balorartcentre.com. It's going to be a lovely night. And Doan is married to Genevieve, so he'll be the host for that night. Doan O'Longan, a member of our committee.
Okay. From Thursday night to Friday night in Keys, there's the launch of Poetry Collection.
Yeah, Bernadette Gallagher's book, the Risen Tree, is been launched by last year's special guest Anne Marie New Curran in Keys Hotel at 6:30. And Bernadette is from Bortonport and she lives in Cork. And Revival Press have published that book. So that's very exciting as well. And everybody's welcome to come to that. And that's a free event. We've lots of free events.
Brilliant, brilliant. Moving on to Saturday, then there's some workshops. There's also the Frances Browne Lecture. That's hosted by the Historical Society, Balbafay and Stranraer Historical Society. And there's even a storytelling event in the Ballard.
The storytelling event, I didn't know about this storytelling event, but it's all over the world, 10 by 9, where 9 people have 10 minutes each to tell a true story from their lives.
Great idea.
And this was started 13 years ago by a man called Paul Doran and a friend of his as well, Padraig O'Tuma. And they established this event that has reached out and apparently is one of the best nights ever. That's also on the Ballard Theatre on the Saturday night. Well worth going to. I'm really looking forward to that.
Well, it's
And
such a great concept.
Sorry, but
It's such a great concept.
it's a fabulous concept because I mean fictional writing is fantastic and a lot of it maybe is actually true, but these are true stories from people's own lives. So they're the rawness of that and the immediacy of it because they're there on the stage telling their own story. It's bound to resonate with so many people, and I would encourage people to attend that.
Then the final day of the festival, next Sunday, there's a walking tour, the Francis Browne walking tour. There's a family fun day at the base centre, and the day finishes with a special performance of an extract from Brendan Behan's The Quare Fellow.
This is a new development in the festival now, that we are able to bring people this fabulous. It's not a long piece of a play. I think maybe 20-25 minutes of the Quare Fellow by the Elusive Theatre Company in association with the Cathedral Quarter Literary Festival and Donnan Harvey. For this year, for the first time, the IFI have International Fund for Ireland have funded sort of an interaction between ourselves, the Francis Browne Literary Festival, the Cathedral Quarter Literary Festival in Letterkenny, and the Steinbeck Festival in Limavady. In that we will each bring the other performances from the other two festivals to our festival. And there's just it's been wonderful to meet up with the people from the other festivals and discuss our challenges and successes and what works and what doesn't work. And I think the festival is all the better for it. And Dougie Bartlett from the Steinbeck Festival, he will at the talk in the you think I didn't know what it was?
McKelvey's Bar, is it?
This is it's associated with McKelvey's Bar, but Dougie from the Steinbeck Festival will be at the Francis Browne lecture, which is being hosted by the Ballafay and Stranorlar Historical Society, and that's also in Keys Hotel. That he is talking about John Steinbeck's connection with the Roe Valley, so he's bringing that, and Thomas McGlynn will give the Francis Browne lecture at that.
Okay.
And in the same way, the Cathedral Quarter are bringing the Brendan Behan play to McKelvey's Bar on the Sunday, and that those two events, that we're featuring those two events thanks to the IFI.
So bringing it all together.
Bringing it all together. And, you know, John Steinbeck, another world-renowned writer.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
Of Mason,
And that play in McKelvey's is going to be followed by a pop-up guilt act, which everybody's welcome to as well.
Okay, some events ticketed, others free. Details online, I presume a Facebook page?
The details are, I think probably the best thing to do is to go on Eventbrite and just search Finn Valley Literary Festival, and it comes up and all the events are there, and you can, that says whether they're free or ticketed. Okay. And you can choose. There's so much to choose from. There's something for everyone. And for myself, I would want to nearly go to everything that's on there. And on Sunday as well, we have a Children's Day, which I absolutely love as well. And we have this Funshog Amusement, who do wooden games. Just as we had them before, and it was so good. We decided to bring them back this year, and they'll be down at the base on Sunday with face painting and loads of arts and crafts for children. Okay. Really good.
Okay, well, lots to attract people, lots of events, and you know, something maybe for everyone there. It all gets underway next Thursday at the Francis Browne Literary Festival. Celine, thank you very much. The best of luck. You'll have a busy weekend next weekend for sure.
Thank you very much, John. And thanks to Donegal County Council as well, who are our main sponsors. And thank you to a very hard-working committee. They really are the best. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Celine. Bye-bye.
Around the Northwest with John Breslin with Virgin Media, rolling out 2 gig full